Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. This is a very slightly different form of stream. What I'm doing is I'm currently in StreamYard because I was going to record a video anyway because I have to, because I'm trying to make sure I get daily uploads done and I didn't yesterday and I felt bad. So here we are. I started work at 6 this morning and I ended at 8. So if I'm a little bit brain shot, if I've missed a couple of things, leave me be. But basically the general gist of this stream is that promotion is still on and there is a hell of a lot to still be positive about, and that is something that I want to discuss because I don't think it is discussed enough right now in the Leeds United community at all. Let's be completely honest here, and results have swung Leeds United's way today. So look at Southampton, and I know that Leicester won, but Leicester didn't look great at the same time. They could have conceded dozens of goals. Yes, that's hyperbole. I feel like someone's going to pick up on it anyway, though. And we are still firmly in the battle for that top 2 place. So, I have decided to name this a little bit of conversation, the natter that we're about to have, the Positivity Power Hour. Let's have a bit of a conversation together. Let's hang out. Let's discuss all the good things about Leeds United, about what's coming up, and how we're feeling. So, first up, just got to have a little bit of a quick note. Everyone seems to be consistently sad and pessimistic, as if there is something just permanently wrong with the club. Which isn't the case. Let's be honest, look at the season so far. We've had a fantastic season, and that is normal, but people in like comment sections and some streamers will basically say, no, it's not been a good season at all. I think they're a little bit wrong, and let's be honest, who does that attitude help? First up, you feel a bit crap when you are actively in that place of, we're not going to get relegated, so what's the point anyway? The players will feel the negativity when they're in the ground, when they're looking on social media, whatever they're doing, they will sort of feel the impact of all of that and go, well, fine then, because it's not really the best place to be. And in addition to that, everyone that reads the stuff is similarly brought down, similarly saddened, similarly upset, not the happiest. So where we can, I think, throughout the rest of this run-in, I'm encouraging everyone that is in the chat, everyone that watches this, to be as positive as we can be. Because I think that's a more fun place to be. So, in this video, I am going to focus on the positives. And the first positive is Southampton dropped points. They played against Cardiff City, and I watched the vast majority of the match. And this was sort of between weird shift event things that I've had. Except I couldn't watch the last 10 minutes, which means that I managed to miss Cardiff's winner, which was a little bit of a pain. But pretty good match. Showed that Southampton are looking pretty good, but they are vulnerable. They are there to be gotten out. And we're at the point where opposing matches matter just as much as ours, which I understand, not a fun place to be for a football club because you're always looking around you. You're quite rarely watching a Leeds match, which is not good. And at the same time, Leicester might have won, but they did look fairly bad. West Brom, as I mentioned earlier, could have scored goal after goal after goal after goal if they were a little bit lucky, if it was a slightly different day. So could Leicester, but that's how football goes. I don't think they were clearly better than West Brom, and that means that they are a team that is there to be gotten at throughout the rest of this run-in, including by Southampton, because they dropped points in a bad way, conceding very deep into injury time. And I think they're likely out of the promotion race, and they will need a result on Tuesday. Someone remind me, who was Southampton playing against on Tuesday? Oh, hello, Leicester. Southampton desperately need a win to stay in this promotion race, and I feel like they are a team that could quite easily peg Leicester back, keep them held in. So if we are able to beat Middlesbrough, fantastic. Because Southampton will be hunting Leicester, and they will only be spurred on by the fact that we might have beaten Borough, and that will be absolutely brilliant. I think I've got Borough and QPR the right way around at the very least. It's been a long day. Leave me be. And ultimately, that is a perfect situation for us. Now, I'm going to go through a bunch of different sections, including, as I just said, Southampton dropping points. I've got a few more coming up, but I'm going to check out the comments in the meantime because, as I said, I'm live streaming this one, so I'm just going to hop in, see what people are saying, say hello. If you are in the chat, drop a like. It's always massively appreciated. Helps this to get pushed out a little bit more. Subscribe as well. That is always absolutely huge. Pushing towards 3,000 by the end of the season, which I understand is quite a big number to try and get to, but I think together we can make it. So Tashin Reckoner, who has appeared in the chat before, Always nice to say hello. It says that even with Leicester winning today, it feels back on. I wasn't concerned about Southampton because of Russell Martin, but they're in the bin again. Absolutely, that's somewhere that I feel like I'm at the moment, because I feel like Southampton were at risk of becoming a problem. I feel like if you're someone who had just eliminated Southampton from your thinking despite the run that they were on, it wasn't looking great. But now we're in a position where Southampton have 2 matches. One of them will matter, and that's the match against Leicester. They desperately need that win against Leicester City. But then again, the second of those matches against Leeds United, well, third, but the last one, won't necessarily matter to them. They could be in a place of, well, it's the playoffs, and I know that this is Leeds, but we can rest players. And this is a good point as well. Our task doesn't change. We still need to win. We still need to outperform Ipswich by, I think, 2 points. But this is another good point. Win both of our games, and Ipswich get 1 point. We're up. They can go level on points, but that goal difference isn't getting overthrown on the final day, unless they decide that they are suddenly the best football team to ever do it, which I feel is relatively unlikely. In addition to that, though, that is partially important because there is a huge break between our matches. We last played a match last Saturday, which for me now, from the recording point of view, was a week ago. We play in another 2 days. That is a 9-day break between losing to Blackburn and now. And some of our biggest worries throughout the most recent days and weeks has been that we have a little bit of unfitness, a little bit of injury, a little bit of wear and tear, and maybe a little bit of mental fatigue that's sneaked in at the same time. In terms of injuries, we know that Somerville is constantly kicked. We know that Jorginho Rutter didn't quite look like he'd fully recovered from that hernia surgery. And just general wear and tear. You've got players like Archie Gray, Ethan Ampadu, Joe Rodon, who have been permanent staples in this team, who are, of course, not going to be feeling 100%. Because you can't feel 100% when you're playing every single week. But 9 days is more of a rest than almost any of these players are going to get consecutively for a long time. Because international breaks for most of these players aren't breaks anyway, because they're either playing with the international teams or they're with the under-21s. And I think this break is absolutely huge for us, because theoretically, our fitness will be better than the teams around us. You can tell that I wrote this when I was quite tired, because that ends in a comma. Sorry about that one. But I think what ultimately matters more than anything here is the fact that we have that fitness and we can exploit that. And I know for a fact that Daniel Farke is someone that will make his team run. He came in and basically went, these players aren't fit enough, because of what happened under Jesse Marsch, because he overcorrected for Marcelo Bielsa, and then Sam Allardyce was here for about 2 minutes and did nothing. Javi Gracia, I am still confused about what happened with him. And we need to consider 2 of our players here. The entire squad is important, don't get me wrong, but 2 of these players are going to be absolutely key, and we need to think that we will have a completely fresh Crescencio Somerville and Jorginho Rutter, which is absolutely massive. At the start of the season, these 2 were ripping up the division. No one was coming even close to them. But now, they've slowed down a little bit, because they've played a lot of football, they've been kicked a bit, a lot of people have been saying they've been found out, but at the same time, that frees up space on the other sides of the pitch. But now they're completely fresh, new ideas, completely different mindset. It's a good place to be. But I do want to know what you guys think about that huge break between matches, because I think it's absolutely huge for us, and Richard Woodthorpe believes that we can take advantage of the Southampton loss, then they will be done, but then we're really fighting Ipswich. I think that is depressingly the world that we are in. We're in a position of, okay, we are now 2 teams fighting for 1 spot, because I think Leicester will just keep pushing onwards, unless they have an absolute stinker in their next match against Southampton. But then that sort of maybe brings Southampton back into things. It's very tricky, I think. Hopefully Southampton win that and we win our match against Borough, and it's not really a problem still, but we'll have to find out, I think. Crane Rutter will hopefully be buoyed by their awards. Well, I am going to get into that right about... I was going to say now, but that's not the next little header that I've got. What that I've got down is that management matters. I'm going to run you through the last few years of Leeds United. Okay? 18-19. Marcelo Bielsa comes in and turns a bunch of not very good players, because they weren't at the time, into world beaters in the Championship. That I think it was that season that looked really ridiculously good against Arsenal. No, it wasn't. That was the other season. Either way, that looked incredibly good. And the second season also looked insanely good, and then we kept on going, and then was replaced by Jesse Marsh, who we collapsed under, we slumped. But because that is what matters. Management matters, and we've seen how much a manager can make a difference, not just in our club, but Kieran McKenna has done absolutely massive things with that Ipswich squad. It's effectively still a League One side. They got promoted last season in intense conditions, and is looking like it might get promoted this season. It's still all up in the air. We don't know who is going up, but it can reasonably be Ipswich. And something that we need to remember that Enzo Maresca doesn't have, that Kieran McKenna doesn't have at this level, that Russell Martin doesn't have at this level. Daniel Farke's been here before. Daniel Farke has done championship promotion. He's not necessarily done a really tight promotion race, but he knows the sort of mental state that players need to be in to get the best out of them. And I think we're not valuing that highly enough. That is absolutely colossal when we're pushing forwards. And one of the main battles that we need to win is mental. And I'm going to do my little chat check-in in a minute, because I think this flows perfectly into the last of the little headers, and then I'll have a little bit of a natter with chat. But we have some massive player morale boosts, and I think that is how we are going to push towards that mental victory, because player morale is going to be absolutely through the ceiling at the moment. And there are plenty of big boosts throughout the squad. It's not just one or two players are a little bit happier now. You need to think Jorginho Rutter was in the EFL Team of the Year, which, considering that he was stumbling a little bit, he wasn't looking at his best, is colossal. It can make a difference, because something I've noted a little bit later is a happy player is better than an upset player. If you are feeling good in any job, it doesn't matter what it is. I was feeling absolutely fantastic when I woke up this morning because I was doing a shift I was really looking forward to, and I could feel that I was performing better than I do most of the time, and that does apply for footballers. If you are motivated, if you are on it, if your head is in the right place, you're going to perform at 100%. And I feel like that is definitely the case, at least for Jorginho Rutter, who might not have been in that spot for the past few weeks because he has been recovering from an injury, and that's totally understandable. Not a problem with that, it happens. In addition to that, someone else who has made the occasional mistake recently is Ethan Ampadu. He's been given the club player of the season by the fans and is also in the EFL Team of the Year. And on the subject of player of the season, think about Archie Gray. He's the young player of the year for both the club and the league, and for a young man, that is going to be absolutely colossal. That is going to be the wind at his back, spurring him on, going, you know what, they've given me this award, I can now prove this point, and I can stamp my authority down and say, yeah, you know what, they were right. I am the best young player in this division, which is what we need to happen if we want to get promoted. We need players with that sort of gusto, that moxie, that little fire to them, because it's huge. And in addition to that, we also need to think about Crescencio Somerville. The EFL Player of the Season and Players Player are both big awards, but they say very different things about a footballer. EFL Player of the Season is purely, mechanically, you are a very impressive footballer. That cannot be avoided. Crescencio Somerville is insane when he is on his game. No one can really stop him, because no matter what, is he going to cut onto his inside, have a shot, you're going to concede the goal. Is he going to stay out wide because you've tried to cover the cut inside? That's not worked either, because he's gone around you, you've tried to tackle him, and you've given away a penalty. That's the sort of thing that is given for the EFL Player of the Season, but at the same time, you need to think about players player, and this is something that is given by the Leeds United squad to a Leeds United player, and it says how much of a significant part Willie Gnonto plays in the squad. Not Willie Gnonto, I was reading a comment, that threw me off. Crescencio Somerville plays in the squad, because clearly that entire team has belief in him, and now he will want to go out and prove, yeah, guys, you've put your belief in the right dude. Which I think he can do, and we know that our wonderful little Flying Dutchman is going to be spurred on because he wants to play Premier League football. He doesn't want to be in the Championship relying on bids from coming from outside, because let's be honest, if we don't go up, we will potentially lose Crescencio Somerville. And that's okay, because that's the nature of football. You don't keep footballers forever, but for the time that they're here, we know that Crescencio Somerville has invested himself in getting fantastic results for Leeds United, and I think he will continue to do so. As I mentioned, a happy player is better than an upset player. A player that knows that he's got the fans, he's got his fellow teammates on his back, at his back. They mean completely different things despite being so close to each other, is going to keep pushing himself to perform at his best. And ultimately, a happy team is better than an upset team. And I think that's what we're going to have when we are going through this promotion run-in. So I was going to end the video with this, but considering I'm doing a live stream, I'm going to have a bit of a chat with the comments, discuss all sorts of bits and bobs about today's football and what else is going on. But at the end of the day, let's just do this, shall we? Let's get promoted. It's more fun than saying it's the playoffs for us. We might as well commit ourselves and go, you know what, let's give it a good fucking go. And if we do, and if we get brilliant results and we still don't go up, that's fine. We're in the best position possible for the playoffs. I still think we can get automatic promotion. Let's be honest, sides above us will drop points, and I'm feeling really good about this whole shebang. This is normally where I would do an outro, and I'm still going to say, if you haven't yet, please pop a like on the stream. That is always fantastic for pushing the stream out, getting more people into this little community that we're trying to build. But I'm going to have a little bit of a natter with the comments. So anyone that is watching the video on demand, you can either vibe with us or you can just continue on with your day. That's completely fine. But let's have a little bit of a natter, shall we? So, Gil made a very good point that I noticed earlier. I didn't call it out because it didn't quite fit with what I was saying at that point. But all three teams that we play haven't got anything to play for. This is absolutely 100% true. Borough will probably not make the playoffs. I don't know if that's mathematically confirmed yet. Come on, words. Confirmed? God, it's been a long day. 3 matches left. Yeah, they're out of it. Unless Norwich drop all of their points, Hull drop all of their points, Coventry do the same, and they make up an 11-goal difference in 3 matches. For Borough, it's done. They are on the beach. They are beatable. For QPR, they are staying up. I think... Just got to check now. Mathematically, they're fine, which is great for us because it means that we've got a relatively weak opponent to play against and they're not even fighting for anything at this point. Other than, I guess, maybe Pride is a home match for them, but does that matter that much? And in addition to that, we have Southampton, who by that point, very probably not getting automatic promotion. They have 5 points to make up over Ipswich in 3 games, and if they get anywhere near that, yes, it could be a difficult game on the last day of the season. But thinking a little bit more realistically, it's not going to happen for them. And they'll be going into the playoffs and they'll want to rest players. And I think that last day of the season could go either way. They could say, okay, let's prove we can beat Leeds. Or it could go the direction of, let's just look after our footballers. Don't risk injuries. Leeds have something to play for here. We don't. Let's find out. Just beat Borough. I absolutely agree. And I think we will. I'm feeling somewhat okay. This is another really big point as well. They won't have Luke Ayling because he's still, despite running out of contract with us in 2 months, on loan at Middlesbrough from Leeds, which means that he is unable to play against us because it would be a conflict of interest. The same applies for Sam Greenwood, but I'm not too sure how much of a big part in their squad he's played so far this season. I'll have a very quick look right now. To be fair to him, more than 2,000 minutes. So odds are Sam Greenwood might have been picked anyway, but you can't know. So we seem to have accidentally damaged their squad, which feels really good. Let's have a look. 4 to 5 assists for him as well. Yeah, Luke Ayling has 5 assists this season so far. 1 or 2 of them might have been with us, but I don't know if they count on Flash Score. I would be on FB Ref normally, but as I've mentioned, this is a very much post-work, let's get a stream done kind of shebang, with Sam Greenwood scoring 5 and getting 3 assists. So those are 2 very good players to make completely unavailable for them. Definitely helps our cause, in my opinion. And I'm feeling quite good about that. Nonto being fresh and ready to go, I think, is also huge. We need to think about, in terms of squad, what we're looking like at the minute, because I know that we've not got Connor Roberts for the rest of the season, and that's not a good thing. But we do have Archie, and we do have Byram, so we're okay at the right-back position. Maybe it would have been nice to have Connor Roberts because he does that overlapping bit, but at the same time, Archie is going to be a lot more malleable tactically than Connor Roberts, because Archie is significantly younger. He's not stuck in his ways of, okay, this, and this, and this are exactly what I want to be doing. He's going to be able to float about, probably be fine. Combined with Nonto, I would prefer someone that sticks to the touchline, purely because he cuts inside, but it doesn't really matter too much. I think Nonto being fit and ready to go is one of the most important things for the rest of our season. because we've seen the impact that he can have, especially away from home. He scored once, I think, at home this season. The rest of his 7 goals have been away. Which, thinking on it, not perfect, but it could be worse. Think about the confidence Kamara could get if he took a shot and scored. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Something else that I'm quite desperate to happen this season would be a spectacular little story to tell. Ethan Ampadu in league football hasn't ever scored a goal. He scored in playoffs and he scored in cup matches, but he's never scored in a league match. Which, if he scores the goal to get us promoted, I think that is the perfect little story. A wonderful little narrative to push onwards. Hello, Lee. Sorry to get to you so late. I've just been flicking through people. Byram should have enough to get us over the line. Absolutely agreed. And because that is the right-hand side of the pitch, which is his natural foot, that's the sort of place where he also thrives. He's someone that when he's on his right foot is able to sort of do that meandering stuff up the wing, compared to when he's at left back, he likes to cut in a little bit more because he's stronger on his right. It's tough, but having him on the right is a good thing. Same with having Junior Firpo on the left. I remember earlier in the season, everyone was like, why are we going to play Junior Firpo? How is Junior Firpo going to make a difference? And here we are, with Junior Firpo being one of our better players throughout the second half of the season. This is spectacular news, looking like Armstrong out for the season. Although I'd have liked him to be available for the Leicester City match. Because if he was available for that game, he would have been able to cause them problems. Would have been nice. Didn't happen. As Elvis sang, it's now or never. We never do it the easy way. Got to beat Borough on Monday. Got to win the next 3 games. Simples. Yeah, basically, that's all I can think as well. It is sort of now or never. If we don't beat Borough, we're in a little bit of trouble. But if we don't beat Borough, we probably don't deserve to go up. Fairly simple, as you've said. And thank you very much, Burkus, for the £10 super chat. That is massively appreciated. Thank you. Especially for a channel the size of mine where, like, when it comes to ad revenue for streams, it ain't good. And I've been putting most of that towards Prostate Cancer UK recently, so that is massively appreciated. Thank you so much. Is there much prize money, financial reward from the EFL as to what position you finish in? That is a really good question, and it depends on how you define much. I know there's a little bit of prize money for where you finish in the league, I think. Most of it comes from the TV fund, though, rather than being based on league position. And I know that in comparison to the Premier League, it is basically nothing. Your entire year of revenue from the EFL being 8 to 10 million quid is overtaken by, off the top of my head, something like 7 or 8 matches televised in the Premier League. It's not good. And the Premier League has a base fund of like £80 million anyway. So it doesn't matter too much, no. I think the only thing that matters for us in terms of position is if we're top 2, we're up, which is fantastic. And if we're not, it just decides who we're playing in the playoffs. And by that point, I'd like to think that we would hope to beat whoever we face in the playoffs anyway. Because if not, that's the wrong approach. That's not the good vibes I'm trying to spread. Joseph to start, I don't know. I think I personally disagree. I keep being in that place of... just seen this. Stuart Armstrong being out. That's okay. Joseph to start, Bamford should not start. I don't think I agree, and that is because that is a hell of a lot of pressure to put on a young footballer's shoulders. A lot of people are saying we've seen Mateo Joseph do well, but that is coming off the bench when he's got an entire crowd backing him up and pushing him forwards. And yes, that will be the case from the first minute, but we've not seen him do it for extended periods of time, except in that FA Cup game against Chelsea. And to pretend that that is representative of a match at the end of a championship season when we've got 3 games to go, when Chelsea were playing attacking, open football against us that allowed us to create chances, when we've got Borough and then QPR, that's not what we're going to be facing. That's not necessarily where Mateo Joseph thrives, and that, I think, could be a little bit of a problem in itself. I'd go for Meslier, Archie, Ampadu, Rodon, Firpo, Kamara. I should have been splitting these positions up in my head, shouldn't I? Gruev, Nonto, Ruter, Somerville, Bamford. I think that's about right. Effectively unchanged, but they've had that nice little reset period to rebuild, to feel a little bit better, going forwards for the final 3 games. Looks like an ACL. That is... Yeah, I mean, at this point, any injury is going to end someone's season, so I don't want to say, like, long-term, short-term, because it's going into a summer where he's going to not really be playing much football anyway, so it doesn't have that much of an impact, I don't think. Got myself checked out the other day, and all fine. That is fantastic to hear, Gil. Thank you for letting me know. And it's good to see that Prostate Cancer UK and all the awareness stuff that they do is having an impact, because they are like helping and pushing people forward to fix things, which is good. It doesn't matter who starts on Monday versus Borough. I want to see every goddamn player busting a gut for our club. It has to mean something. That is something that I feel like we are almost guaranteed to get. With this squad, I think one of the best things that Liam Cooper has done in the last 12 months, and this isn't a dig at him being like not the best on the pitch, because I have a lot of respect for him because he played a massive part in our promotion to the Premier League in the first place. But I have so much respect for him captaining the side that got relegated and saying, if you don't want to be here, then just fuck off. Because what happened with that is it made sure that everyone that didn't want to be here had it in their heads of, I guess I'm not welcome. And started pivoting in their minds towards going, okay, where's the next move that I can take? And that is huge, because it means that all the players that didn't want to be here left. And admittedly, there was the Nonto issue, but I feel like that was more agent-driven than anything else. Maybe Mancini in his ear saying, it's a lot harder to get picked for Italy when you're not in the Premier League, which bollocks. He's in the Championship and still proving himself. And I think the players that we have at this club right now are not only backing the club, but they know they have the backing of the fans, and they know they have each other's backing. You can see on the faces of the players. For example, after Nonto scored his first goal at home since he scored that goal against Cardiff in the FA Cup, you could see just how hyped everyone was for him. Everyone was so excited. He was so happy. And the amount of joy that the club is bringing to the players means that, in effect, we are going to get that every player busting a gut. I think we're in a fantastic little spot for that. And it's not something I'm worried about. It's more a question of, does the quality get us over the line? And I think it will, because, as I mentioned earlier on, this is a good vibe stream. There's no point approaching the final 3 games of the season, the last couple of weeks, going, it's done anyway, sod it. Because all you're doing in that situation is bringing yourself down. You're not letting yourself enjoy the time. And I think that's something that we should be doing all the time. Howdy, baby zebra. How's it going? And Nonto will probably score the goal that takes us back up, the full redemption story coming to a sweet, sweet conclusion. That would be a dream. That would be spectacular. There was a similar sort of perfect dream, ideal scenario thing that I had in my head a couple of months back before the Leicester game, and then it came true at the Leicester game, and then it uncame true because I thought the perfect person to score the goal that gets Leeds United promoted would be Archie Gray. And then it was stolen from him. But just imagine Archie Gray on the final day of the season, 94th minute, fires one into the top corner against Southampton. The stadium would explode. It would be monstrous. That is my sort of perfect scenario. In fact, pop in the chat, what is your perfect situation for Leeds United going up here? Are you specifically looking for one player to score? Are you looking for someone to make an appearance that you didn't expect? Like, another great thing would be if we're looking really comfortable on the last day of the season and there's a just in case we put Stuart Dallas on the bench and Liam Cooper, and we can say goodbye to them in the perfect way by going up with a crowd like they deserve the first time around. Because they did deserve that the first time around. They deserved the adulation. They deserved all the good vibes that came with it, but they didn't get it. Thank you, Ricky. Smash a like for the positivity. Let's do that. I like it. Oh, dear. You see, this happened recently in one of the Balls Knowledge recordings. So I guess we're back to the old camera, because this one occasionally runs out of battery, because it can't do for longest stints. Let's get that fixed, shall we? But we're good vibes. We're still good vibes. The camera might have killed itself, but we are still fantastic vibes. Best players in the league, best team in the league, best manager in the league. Let's go win it, Leeds. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, why approach it in the position of it's not going to happen? When we do have such fantastic players, we've got a manager that's done it before. We're only 2 points behind Ipswich, which, let's be honest, if they drop any points and we don't, we're up. Because doesn't really matter too much, does it? Because our goal difference is so much better than theirs. Also, thank you, Lee. That is massively appreciated, becoming a new member. I've kept channel memberships as affordable as I can at the cheap and cheerful tier. There's a couple of tiers above it, including one that I've called financially irresponsible, which I actively recommend against doing. But if you want to, that's up to you. And all new member revenue is going towards Prostate Cancer UK until August, which is when I'm doing a big old charity walk. 42 miles, 24 hours, and it might kill me, but that's completely fine because it's for a good cause. My ultimate scenario is we get promotion sewn up when Ipswich fail to beat Coventry just in time for my birthday on the 2nd of May, and we swap the title against Saints. That would be another perfect world. I'd love it. I've got a slightly different hope, I'll be honest with you. My ideal promotion set at this point is we go up, Ipswich go up, and like Norwich or Hull or Coventry end up going up. Because just imagine the amount of piss that would boil amongst Leicester fans, amongst Southampton fans who have completely dropped the ball. That'd be perfect. That is my ideal world. Also, let me know what sort of framing you like, because I've gone back to the camera that I'm not really using that much anymore, and it's making things very, very difficult for me. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Let's hope the last game has got them in the right frame of mind going forwards. I think it will. I think the match against Blackburn was a lesson that we are not basically invincible at home, which might be something that had like slipped into mind over time, because we were basically invincible at home, but having lost, that means that they're now in a place where they're like, oh, that's not good. Because now if we don't perform at our best, there's consequences. Which, let's be honest, we all knew there were consequences anyway, because that's how football works. But, yeah, I think that will have got them in the right position. Hello, Goals Edits. How are you doing? Hopefully spectacularly on this wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's not going to be a super long stream, by the way, guys. It might be another 7 minutes or so, purely because I am up in another 8 hours to do my next shift at work. But that's fine, because it's Formula 1 and I enjoy watching Formula 1. I know a lot of people don't, because cars go around in circles. I'm going to fix the camera thing. But I enjoy it. And getting paid to watch various sports is very, very fun for me work. Good weekend, shocking week. What was shocking about the week? And on the good weekend, good, because we're bringing positivity. We're bringing the great vibes in the stream. That's the goal. And we're talking about the end of the season. And I'm still annoyed that I didn't see the winner for Cardiff City. I saw the one before it. I was sat in my living room with my brother, and like a notification came up on his watch, and he was like, and of course my look back was, and we both knew that they'd scored, but it took a couple of minutes to come through on the TV because we were listening to the TV on the radio Leicestershire. No, not Leicestershire. Solent? I think it's Radio Solent or something like that for Southampton. Currently ceiling. But aside from that, not much. I'm doing pretty good. Haven't watched modern F1 since 2017, but I'm still passionate about vintage F1, Group C sports cars, and the BTCC Super Tourer era. I am really enjoying F1 at the moment, not for first place, but for everything behind it. The upper order in midfield is the tightest it's ever been, which means that if you're looking for a time to get back into it, ignore who wins the race and focus on the rest of it, and you will have a fantastic time. Entertainment, brilliant, wonderful. I did like your how I make videos video, Joe. Good work. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. It was very, very fun. Geez, West Brom should have beaten the Foxes by at least 8 goals. I didn't get to watch that one. I watched a couple of bits, but I was working my second event of the day at that point. So I missed significant amounts of that match, which wasn't fun, but that's okay. No problem. Lots really had someone talk to me about something deep that I had to fix, but enough about this. I haven't watched F1 that much. I think you should. It's fun. Do you think you should start and end your videos by saying aha? Just asking. As in, aha. Or like a aha? Because your question mark at the end makes me think that it's like a spooked aha. Like a aha! Whereas it could be aha! Or something like that. But then we're getting into like acting territory and I can't do that. I'm not very good at that. A bit rubbish. I've got half an idea, folks. And I don't know if you guys will be pumped for this idea. Because I don't know where I stand on the championship right now. I will admit it's spooky. But I think Solent's Bristol way. Aha, Alan Partridge. I didn't know it was an Alan Partridge thing. The amount of Alan Partridge references and being told that I look like him is shocking for someone that hasn't seen any Alan Partridge. I'm sorry, I know. Where are we? Okay, cool. Right, so what I'm going to do is can someone run me through all the matches that Ipswich and Leicester have? It's okay if not. That's completely fine. But I'm just trying to quickly whack something together. Because I'm going to put my neck on the line. I know that predicting things as a YouTuber is a horrible idea because it never goes your way, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway. We're going to give it a go. Okay, so if I open that, Leicester have Southampton, Preston, and Blackburn. Thank you very much for letting me know. My favourite F1 era is the 3.5 litre era when Prost and Mansell were racing, and you had V8s, 10s, 12s, and occasionally a W12 with less power than an F3 car. God, what an era! I wasn't there for it, but I know it was a good era. Okay, so Leicester have them as well. This is the part where it's like just a vibesy stream. We're not going to get agitated about anything. The entire point of this stream was to be a bit vibesy and like a good feel, but that's okay. Preston badge. Pop that there. And who is it that Leicester have on the last days at Huddersfield? Blackburn and Southampton. Okay, cool. I've done a mistake, fellas. I've done a bad. But it's okay. It's not like a criminal bad. It's just a... I put some images out of order bad. Right. That goes there. Cracking. And then Leeds have Hull and Coventry. And Southampton, but that's okay. I already have their badge saved. No, Leeds don't have Hull and Coventry. Ipswich have Hull and Coventry. And is it Ipswich that play Huddersfield? I think it's Ipswich that play Huddersfield. If not, then I'm going to feel like a right old Wally, but that's okay. Our best hope is that we win 3 and Ipswich have 1 draw. Yeah, I mean, I think they will do a little bit worse than that, because that's the world we're living in. because then they're not just going to walk it, because that doesn't happen right now. Have you seen the Championship this season? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. We've been saying for months that someone's going to get spanked playing Leeds. Now would be a good time. I think we save it for Southampton. They'd properly ruin their day. I understand why we maybe wouldn't want to wait that long, but it'd be so funny. I should probably actually share what it is that I am doing. Sorry, that's my bad. Share screen. Okay, let's share a single tab. There we go. What we are doing is we are assembling some predictions for the remainder of the season. Oh, why are you not? There we go. Some badges that just don't show up as transparent background are the worst, and I hate them. Thank you, Huddersfield. Brilliant. So let's predict these teams' matches first, and we'll see how it goes from there. So let's go x-x for what we think the score's going to be, and then just copy and paste it a bunch of times. And we'll guess how many points we need, shall we? And whoever wins, there will be no prize, except you will feel quite good about yourself, which is in itself a prize. Borough can't make the playoffs now, can they? So hopefully we beat them. They can, technically, in theory, maybe. Not easily. They're not in a good spot for it, but the annoying thing is that if we kept up our form for 2 more games, we'd probably be up by now. But, and we're being a positive vibe stream here. We're being happy. If we would have kept up the form from December, we wouldn't be here. Which is, it makes me feel quite good, because like things could be significantly worse, and that's good for us, because we're not in that like horrible place right now. So let's make some predictions. What are we all thinking for Leicester versus Southampton? I'm going to be a little bit annoying, and I'm just going to straight up say that Ipswich will pummel Huddersfield. That one isn't the biggest question for me. That one feels like that is almost certainly a win for Ipswich. If you think I'm wrong, go for it. But like, but that's up to you. I'm not going to make that bet for you. I feel like Southampton quite desperately need a result against Leicester, and I feel like Leicester didn't necessarily look too good against West Brom. Huddersfield being safe, they'll be on the beach. They're not safe, are they? Let's have a look. I'm convinced Huddersfield are in that little conversation at the bottom. Unless I've missed something. No, Huddersfield are currently 22nd. That is not safe. And they have to play Birmingham, which, if they win, only puts them 1 point above Birmingham. And then it's the last day of the season. So they've got some fighting to do. Leicester lose, draw, win. Ipswich draw, win. Leeds 9 points. That would be a dream world. I would take the hell out of that. I'm gonna say I can see Southampton being at their best. Leicester have a goal in them, but I think Southampton will have too much. So let's go with 2-1. Not 22-1. 2-1. Leicester versus Preston, I can see them winning, and it will maybe be comfy. I'm going to go for a 2-0. Blackburn's a weird one. Blackburn aren't playing for anything, but we know that they don't need to be playing for anything to be dangerous. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Huddersfield won't be safe. They'll be down or fighting for survival. That's what I'm thinking. They will either be fighting for whatever little tiny scrabble of pride they can get their hands on, or they'll be fighting for survival. which makes me feel okay. 2-2, they'll want to sign off with a positive result at Deepdale for Leicester Preston. That's true. I can see Preston being quite vicious. So we'll go with a 2-2. We're being optimistic after all. I do think they will beat Blackburn. I think they will overpower Blackburn. I'm going to go for a 3-1. But that is 4 points for Leicester, which would put them on off the top of my head. Oh, what are they on? Are we on 87? Ipswich 2 above us on 89. I think Leicester on 91. So we'll say that leaves them on 95 points. At a guess. I don't know if that is the case. That is me absolutely pulling it out of the top of my head. 91. There we go. 95 points. Which is a lot, admittedly. But then we get to talk about this lot. Blackburn could do what they did to us. Yeah, what I'm doing with the prediction-y guesses is I'm going either realistically or simultaneously maybe a little bit of pessimism, so when we have a better outcome, I can feel a little bit happy. But that's not necessarily going to happen. We don't know. You're probably the greatest Leeds YouTubers, rivaled only by the other Joe. Ah, thank you. I mean, I don't know about that, but I will take it. Hull 3-0, Carvalho hat-trick, and Cook's leave. You know what? I'm not going to disagree with you. If someone else is going to do the positivity, then I'm going to let them. Win against Hull, loss against Coventry, win to Huddersfield. Why? No, we don't do that. No, we do the happy times. We do the good stuff. I'll go with a draw against Coventry. That'll do. So that's another 4 points, which puts them on 93. Which means, in fact, before we do that, I am going to do Leeds' matches without looking at that. Ignore that. That's got various worky bits in it. Leeds badge, Bosch. Got 3 matches, so I'm going to make them nice and big. They're going to take up the space they deserve. We have Borough. If it'll drag. There we go. If it'll drag. In terms of time, if they play the way that other teams have been playing, yes, it will drag. But where the fuck did Borough go? That's okay. Pop them there. A little bit smaller. There we go. That feels a little bit better. The size they belong. Smaller than Leeds. We've got to win them all, Joe. I would hope so. But we'll have to find out. Full GPMG reload. I have no idea what those words mean. Because the noggin is not functioning at its best right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it twice, and we're going to shift it down. And I've forgotten who else we have to play. It's... Why is it done that? That's not meant to happen. Ah! This is why creating thumbnails takes me a lot longer than it should. Boom. Bosh. Bang. Bing. Let's get the QPR badge, shall we? Do we just leave it at 4-0, 4-0, 4-0? And we'll be very, very happy and optimistic and, like... We'll roll with it. There's no point being sad, is there? Let's be happy about Leeds. We're a fun club. I enjoy watching us. So, let's not bring it down. Copy that. Paste that. Hello, Mr. Southampton. You are staying small. I've decided. Because... Let's have our predictions. I'm going to do it in poll format, I think, but it'll be very, very, very quick polls. Ayling cannot play on Monday, so I would love an own goal, but that can't happen. So, if you are just listening to me in the background. I'm going to do a series of polls now asking what we think the results will be for the 3 remaining games for Leeds United. I'll run each one for a couple of minutes, and then we'll see roughly where we are at the end of the season. So, what are we thinking for Leeds United against Middlesbrough? I'm feeling somewhat okay about it. QPR away, the Farker taker exercises our hoodoo 2-0 win. That's the perfect world, isn't it? Daniel Farker takes us back to the promised land via wizardry, which feels about right, you know? I'll take it. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to close that. I don't know if this will work, so this is a little bit of a risky thing. A full screen, that wasn't meant to be full screened like that, but that's okay. Do that. Pop out that. Okay. Cool. I'm going to slightly change this screen share. That wasn't meant to happen. Share screen, entire screen. That one. That one. There we go. We got the chat as well. I don't know how visible that chat is. If it isn't, then I apologise. Is there a way I can modify it so it's a little bit bigger? There we go. Hopefully that's nice and legible. If it isn't, then my bad. Joe ... Yes, DFG. Oh crumbs, that's not gone well. I don't know if I'll be able to make the next poll, but that's okay. Win has 78%. Let's go with a win, shall we? Let's call it comfy cozy little 2-0. Who's Leicester's last game? Leicester's last game is Preston. Next poll. Leeds versus QPR. Is it a win? Is it a draw? Is it we lose? I was going to say loss, but I decided against it. Let's hide it so it's not taking up all the space. Don't care, just bloody win. Yeah, I mean, this is the right take, but I've got to ask. I need to know what the people think. We are hyper-democratic here. As everyone that pops into my Football Manager streams will know, I am democratic up until the point that it becomes a little bit inconvenient. At which point we give up. So if you guys vote that we don't win, tough shit, we're winning anyway. No, we're not. It's fine. 3-0 Nanto Bryce Cree back to his best. QPR won't be easy as it is their last home game under the lights on Friday. There'll be a difficult proposition. Leeds aren't known for being great in London. That's a series of facts that I have forgotten about and I don't like, so I will ignore them, although I appreciate you contributing. Leicester's last game is at home to Blackburn. We have to beat Borough and QPR, and then we might not even need to beat Southampton. We'll win all of the last 3 games. That would be a perfect world. QPR 0, Leeds 4 with chess. Losing against QPR, come on, it's Leeds. Blackburn will turn up to spoil. Maresca will lose the plot. That would be beautiful. Imagine the piss that would be boiled. It would be perfect. Leeds versus QPR, I'm going to end this poll because 71%, that's pretty telling. I'm going to listen to 71% of you. And someone did say 4-0 Leeds with chest, but yeah, sod it. We're going to blow a team out of the water. That's what we're going to do. And now, finally, that's 6 points. We need to do Leeds versus Southampton. On the final day, at Elland Road. Relegation potentially on the line. We don't know. Do we win? Do we draw? Or do we lose? In fact, I'll put on this add option. I've screwed this up. 1 second. Because I need to reorder them a bit. Draw, win, but with pitch invasion. There we go. That feels right. That feels like the world that we're living in. We draw one of these games, in my opinion. Yeah, but we're being happy. We're being positive. We're being good vibes. If you haven't yet, by the way, I'd massively appreciate popping a like on the stream. We're nearly at 50, which I think would be nearing the record of likes that I've gotten on a stream that wasn't at any point redirected by Joe, which would be absolutely brilliant. Because, like, something that I've noticed that I have quite a lot with YouTube stuff is, like, heavy imposter syndrome. I'm like, oh no, I feel like I don't go here. I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. And like being able to do this more consistently with people like showing up and saying hello, it feels real good, and it's nice. It's a good vibe. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. It's looking like a form of win. Which one is up to you guys. If you haven't voted yet, I would massively appreciate you doing it. There's 60 or so of you here, which means 50 of you haven't voted, and at least 14 of you haven't liked the stream. Bristol Rovers memories. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking when I wrote down the pitch invasion. That's what we want. That's what we need. Do you know why I keep getting unsubscribed? I've not got the foggiest. That is not a thing that I'm aware of being a big issue. But if it's happening, that's not perfect. All I can suggest is subscribe again, and the issue might go away. That's something for like YouTube support, not me. If Leicester and Southampton draw and Leeds win the next two games, then Leicester on 92, Leeds on 93 before Leicester play at Preston, and Preston will look to ruin that game. Preston will Preston that up, because that's what they do. They like to Preston. Lose to a last-minute penalty at home to Saints, finding out a minute later that a draw would have been good enough. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't. No. That's not the world we're living in. Joe, I've subscribed to many channels and it randomly seems to unsub me, not just your channel. That's very weird. Yeah, if you can like contact a support person at YouTube, I think that'd be a good call. But the vibe seems to say Leeds United beat Southampton. I'm going to end that poll. We are going to say I want it to be tight. So I'm going to go with 2-1 because I want that grey winner. And that would make me feel good. As an Ipswich supporter, I see Leeds beating Southampton. 1, thank you for popping in, Kevin. That is massively appreciated. 2, you might not believe me, but I wish you the greatest of luck for the remainder of the season because I don't want to see Leicester go up. And yeah, good to have you about. Borough's the hardest game and QPR could be the biggest threat. I think Borough I feel okay with. Because they don't have Ayling, they won't have Sam Greenwood. That makes me feel okay. Come on, Joe, it's Leeds. I know it's Leeds, and that is why I'm being an optimist. The entire general vibe of this stream, this video is... And I'm going to hop back to this bit now. Everyone seems to be sad, pessimistic. That doesn't help anyone. You feel crap. The players feel crap because that negativity sort of spreads a bit either on social media or in the ground, and everyone else is brought down. So let's focus on the positives. Let's be as happy as we can. And I completely agree with this. It is a new era of Leeds. Let's have the good vibes, because you don't enjoy the football if you're just being worried all the time. That's less good. So let's not pace Southampton. We don't want more of Southampton. We barely want the one that we've got. We are currently on, off the top of my head, 87 points. If we win all 3, that's another 9. That is 96 points. 9396 points for Leeds United, which I think, off my maths, that's us in first. That's Leicester second. That's Ipswich third, which I'm okay with. I'm very happy with that. I'll take it. I'd rather Leicester not go up, but that's okay. Also, quick note as well, 96 points would be Leeds United's points record in a league season, I think, off the top of my head, with Bielsa's promotion season getting 93. But it's okay because Farke is a bad manager. Tell us where you're from. Obviously not Leeds, and how come you support Leeds? What I am going to do, actually, is I'm going to make that full screen, just so the like entire chat is on. I'm going to ask you, where do you think I'm from? People that actually know where I'm from, do not answer this. This is going to be a... That doesn't work. Does that work? No, I'm still a little bit on the small side. Yeah, people that don't know where I'm from, have a guess. People that do know where I'm from, don't spoil it. Kind of want to see what the predictions are from people. Kevin Bailey says Halifax. I've been to Halifax several times. I've walked through Halifax. Couldn't care less about anything. If we get second on goal scored, I'd be happy. Absolutely. Baby Zebra says Scotland. You know I'm not from Scotland. DFG says Manchester. The Orange Raider says Peterborough. No one's got it right quite yet. I don't know if Andrew is still in the chat. Andrew being my brother. Don't spoil it. Harrogate. That's another guess. It's definitely a guess. It's warmer than Scotland. I'll give you that. Lincoln from DFG. Yorkshire from Kevin Bailey. Somewhere down south, says Michael O'Donnell. Yorkshire, but not Leeds, says Kevin. Donny from Taschenrechner. Donegal from Liam Chalky. Not quite got the voice on that one. DFG says south of Leeds. James Smith says Leeds. Taschenrechner says Nottinghamshire. We did have an Oxford, which is confusing. I'm not from France. I do not believe that would be a little bit weird. DFG says Mars. Matthew Thomas says England. I mean, that is right. I'll give you that one. Fair enough. Not wrong. We've had a couple of correct ones. Because I'm from Leeds. I wasn't entirely sure why it was assumed that I wasn't from Leeds, but I am. I think I explained why I don't have the Leedsiest accent in a like mental health video that I did a good while back. But it's not the most fun reason. So with a positivity stream, I'm not going to dive too far into it, if that's okay, guys. Deutschland. I would do many an accent, but Deutschland is one that I will not be touching. You don't have the accent, I know. Bizarre. It's a little bit bizarre, but that's fine. Fun fact, Gildersum was previously, I believe, founded by a Dutchman and pronounced Gildersum, which is quite nice. Bognor. No, I've said Leeds. It's Leeds. It's still not It's still not Dewsbury. It's Leeds. It's just Leeds. But yeah, I believe I may be. Oh, I think you've cracked it. You might have cracked that one. Right, I am going to wrap up the stream in a minute. You're from Donegal. Very nice to hear. Do I know anyone from Donegal? No. Where's she from? I don't know. How much crap are Leeds in financially if not promoted? It won't be fun, but we are not as ruined as Leicester or Southampton. Southampton are relatively okay. We're not as ruined as Leicester. But you must be from a bloody posh area of Leeds then. Not that posh. It's Morley. It's just I'll give you the short version. Basically, when I was younger, I got a bit bullied, which when I went to uni, I was like, that's not going to happen again. And I was a little bit worried that I'd be bullied because of the accent. And so I sort of like, it slid away, if that makes sense. Click head message. Nice. Big fan of that. Yeah, it slid away. And it comes back from time to time when I'm in Yorkshire, because I'm surrounded by people that won't like have a go. You're enunciating rather well. Thank you. saw your video about that. You're a brave lady, mate. I mean, all of the words in there but one. Thank you. And to be fair, I would make a fantastic lady because I have a cracking pair of tits. I don't. It's flat as a pancake over here. I'm a skinny boy. But enough faffing. Thank you for popping onto the stream. As I said, promotion is definitely still on, and we need to be real positive. This was the Positivity Power Hour. I think I might do these streams more. That was quite nice. I know, it was spell check. I'm having a joke with you. We're cool. I might do more of these little Positivity Power Hours, because this was quite fun. Southampton have dropped points, which is really good for the promotion push. There was a massive break between Leeds United matches, which makes me feel real confident about player fitness. Management does matter, and we know that Daniel Farke is one of the best managers in the division. The player morale will have had a colossal boost, and at the end of the day, we should focus on the positives because there's no fun in being negative, especially when it comes to Leeds. We might as well just have a bit of fun. So, let's do this, shall we? And as Liam Chalky says, we all love Leeds. So, hope you enjoyed the stream/video. If you did, pop a like on it. Comment if you are watching it back after I've been live. Subscribe if you haven't yet. That's massively appreciated because I'm trying to push my way to 3,000 subs. Could even become a channel member because all of the channel member revenue at the moment is going towards Prostate Cancer UK, which is a massive, really important cause. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later.